How's it going, y'all? Time Smash MTG. Today we have some more Jumpstart Historic Horizons discussion. Today I'll be talking about the top 10 cards that you should craft in this set. 10 cards I think are pretty safe to craft, ones that will be seeing some play in Historic, and as we get towards the top of it, ones that can be seen play in a lot of different decks, I think. So before we begin, that's what we got. I hope to get this video out to you soon, because I was thinking, hey, Thursday, the set releases, we can play with these new cards. However, if you've not seen, Wizards made the announcement that due to some unforeseen changes and problems they're having with some stuff on the back end, they're going to delay the set, so it will not be coming out on August 26th, getting pushed back a full 2 weeks. It sucks. I hate that because I was looking forward to playing this. I had the day off work to actually record some content, have it up pretty soon for y'all. But that's part of it. That's life. I would rather than do this and delay it a little bit rather than releasing a broken product that's just super bugged. So, if anything changes in the 2 weeks and my list isn't the exact perfect top list, I'll blame it on that. But yeah, top 10 cards here. No honorable mentions because if they didn't make the top 10, then they ain't good enough to be mentioned anyway. But let's go and start from the top. Work our way down to number 1. Let's go. So starting off at number 10 here, we have Dabriel, Soul Broker. This is the 4 mana, 4 loyalty Planeswalker, +1. So your next turn, whenever the opponent attacks you or a Planeswalker you control, they discard a card. If they can't, they sacrifice an attacking creature. Not bad. -2, accept one of Davriel's offers, then accept one of Davriel's conditions. You get to choose from 3 of these on each one. -3, target creature perpetually gets -3/-3. This card I think is the most high variance. This could be absolutely terrible and almost unplayable, or this thing can be a lot better than we think. If you get to look at the conditions and offers from this set card, you'll realize that the conditions are actually pretty. I mean, you know, they're not great, but they're things you can live with. But the offers that he has are all can be really good, and depending on what you roll in these, you're always going to have a chance to get something that's pretty good and kind of suits your style of play there. The plus is really nice because it can turn into just a discard outlet every turn, which is super nice. Or it just forces somebody where they're trying to attack this Dabriel down, but they can't really afford to attack it because if they do, bam, they're having to sacrifice a creature there. So this does a pretty good job protecting itself. It's got a decent loyalty for the mana cost, and I think it has enough potential to be really nice. We'll have to see how it plays out when you play it. I think it's nice to know that if you have to, you can just -2 and -2. It will die that way, but at least you get to do it twice and not have to worry about it too much. I could see this card not being very good. I could also see this being way better than 10. I think it just really comes down to playing with it. And a card like this with mechanics we've never seen before, we'll definitely need to play with it before we can jump into it. But it's a 4 loyalty or 4 mana Planeswalker, which, something like this, if I saw this off the bat and had to guess, I would guess this is 5 mana. So it'd be 4 mana. I think it's got a shot to see some play. So, Dabriel Soul Broker coming in at number 10. Let's go to number 9. So number 9, we have a modern all-star in Season Pyromancer. For those of you who don't know it, 3 mana, 1 double red, 2/2 human shaman. Whenever it enters the battlefield, discard 2 cards, then draw 2 cards. For each non-land card discarded this way, create a 1/1 red elemental creature token. Pay 5 mana and exile from your graveyard. Create 2/2 red elemental creature tokens. I think this card, obviously it's a really good card. It has the modern pedigree to back it up. I don't know if the support for it in Historic is quite there, but you do have things like Is It Phoenix can go in. You have things like Rakdos Arcanist, Rakdos Pyromancer. So I think this definitely can see some play. It's a little bit narrow. If you're not wanting to do this kind of effect, then 3 mana to kind of loot 2 and possibly make some tokens isn't amazing. I still think this is good. I probably have this ranked too low, honestly. I think this more so has to do with the lack of support for it Historic compared to some of these other cards. But Season Pyromancer is a house. It's a really, really good card that we know of already. I love the late game. You can exile this end of turn, make some attackers, possibly get those last points of damage in there, and make it really hard to interact with if you're the opponent. So, Pyromancer is great. We'll see if it's great enough for Historic. But that's what we got there for number 9. Let's take a look at number 8. So for number 8 here, we have Thalia's Lieutenant. Another is human all-star in Modern, and all these formats that can play it. This is one of the best human payoff cards that has been printed. And the fact that it comes to Historic makes me very excited because I love this card and love playing these kind of decks. Thalia's Lieutenant is a 1 white, 1/1 human soldier. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each other human you control. So you're helping that battlefield to go wide. And, if it's already going wide, you're helping it get a little bit bigger. Then, whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Thalia's Lieutenant. So you come in, distribute those counters early on. Late game, you're playing some more humans. Your Thalia's Lieutenant's growing and getting out of danger there. Just a really nice card. It does it all. I think for the decks that want this is one of the best cards that's printed in the set. However, this is very narrow. Unless you're playing a tribal deck, it's not going to be seen play anywhere. So while I do love Thalia's Lieutenant, it probably deserves to be. I mean, this and Seasons of Pyromancer should probably actually be switched. Again, Thalia's Lieutenant, fantastic at what it does, but very narrow. You know, Pyromancer you can put in a couple different decks. This is just going in a humans deck, and that's really it. So great card for what it is. You're not going to see it play everywhere though. But if you're somebody who does like the human archetype and you want to play some human tribal or some Coco with humans, absolutely feel safe crafting this because it's fantastic. That's number 8. Let's take a look at number 7. So number 7, we have an old favorite in Restoration Angel. This is 3 and a white, 3/4 angel with flash and flying. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-angel creature you control, then return to the battlefield under your control. Easy peasy blink shenanigans here. But the beauty of this card is it's also good enough to not have to play in blink decks. While obviously I think that's the big home for it, and you want to really kind of synergize that. And there are some good creatures, you know, you got your Deputy Detention, your Skyclave Apparitions, Charming Princes, cards that are already good enough so you play without this card being in it anyways. Sometimes you can just see this in a deck if you don't have good blink targets. A 3/4 with flash and flying is extremely relevant, both to be able to eat a creature that's attacking you, to have some kind of clock in combat, to protect your planeswalker you may have. Restoration kind of just does it all, but the fact that it does have the blink clause on there makes it very good. Anybody who's played this card, you know how good this is. I think it's good enough for Historic. We'll have to see how it plays out, but I think this card is gas. That's number 7. Let's take a look at number 6. So my number 6 may seem kind of weird to some people. We got Unholy Heat. This is a red mana, so 1 mana instant. Deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. With the Delirium, though, Unholy Heat does 6 damage to target creature or planeswalker. I know that may seem like a lot, but I think there's actually a lot of places that can slot into. At the very worst, this is kind of a fiery impulse, little, you know, shock the face kind of thing. But Delirium and a lot of these kind of decks are way easier to get than you think. You got to think, if you're an aggro deck, you're probably playing Bomac Courier, Scrap Heap Scrounger. There's your artifact and a creature right now. Then you've got your possibly lands that you can pitch. You've got instants and sorceries. I think it's pretty easy to get Delirium in these kind of decks. And being able to do 6 damage to anything is huge for these kind of decks because you don't want to pay for expensive removal when you're an aggro deck. So being able to hit it off this for 1 mana is fantastic to kill almost anything. Also, you can have Delirium Shells. You can have things like Rakdos Arcanus. And again, your Is it Phoenix decks all take advantage of this card very well. So it's common too. So it makes it easy to craft. You don't even have to worry about it. But Unholy Heat, fantastic card. Sees modern play. Pretty certain we'll see some historic play too. That's number 6. Let's get down to the top 5, baby, with number 5. So number 5, we have another card that's seen a lot in modern play, and this is Archmage's Charm, which is blue, so very difficult mana to cost, and that's why this card gets held back a little bit, but such a good card. For blue, you can choose one. You can either counter target spell, so you got your cancel right there if you need it. Target player draws 2 cards, 3 mana for 2 cards, and instant speed is nice. Or gain control of non-land permanent with converted mana cost 1 or less. Just such a versatile card that does it all for only 3 mana. And even though blue is a little bit scary, a lot of times on turn 4, you're going to have that pretty much any time. There's also just plenty of ways to do it. You know, you're playing Triomes and things of that nature. The blue may not be as scary as we think it is. Even decks like Jeskai just kind of make it work in modern. And historic, you know, it's going to be a little bit harder, but still, it may work. Just put your mind to it. But Archmage's Charm, fantastic, very versatile. Every mode is powerful in this card. It gets a slot in the top 5. It's going to wreak havoc for a lot of people. That's Archmage's Charm. Number 5. Let's go down to number 4. At number 4, we got Ranger Captain of Eos. This is 1 white, so 3 mana, 3/3 human soldier. Again, another human payoff. You'll love to see it. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with a converted mana cost 1 or less, reveal it, put it to your hand, then shuffle your library, sacrifice it. Your opponents can't cast non-creature spells this turn. The versatility and just the overall just do-it-all aspect of this card makes it fantastic. It is a mythic. That's the hardest part about crafting this in Arena. But this card's good. It doesn't have to be seen play in just a human shell. I think any kind of aggressive deck that plays white is going to want this. I could even see control decks sideboarding this in. Imagine this, that you get it in there, you get the beats on, and then when you think you have the game about closed up, if you need to sacrifice it, sack it so your opponent can't cast non-creature spells and then get your final points of damage in that way or something. Ranger also works really well with Death Shadows decks, which are always in these colors anyway, usually, whether they're Mardu or Orzhov. Play this, go fetch up your Death Shadow. Then when you need to sack this, make sure your opponent can't cast spells. Do the thing. This is a versatile card. It does it all. Even this is baseline stats is a 3 mana 3/3. Not amazing or anything, but it's fine. So, Ranger Captain Eos, fantastic card, fantastic addition to the format. Very happy to see it here, and I love this card. 3 more to go, baby. 3 for Dale. Let's go down to number 3. In number 3 here, we got a brand new card. This is Dabriel's Withering. This is a single black mana instant. Target creature perpetually gets -1, -2. So you're talking about just a 1 mana kill spell in a lot of situations. This kills a lot of things that can come back from the graveyard. So imagine using this against Scrap Heap Scroungers, against Crypt Breakers, all the little 1 mana zombie kind of things that keep coming back from the graveyard. Dabriel's Withering takes them out of the game for good. We can't talk about this card without talking about Vesperlark. We get the combo that's ready to go in Historic. I think it's going to be just an absolutely broken deck, at least in best of 1. I'm imagining I could see it getting a ban at some point even, but this is a common, makes it safe to craft if you want to. But giving something perpetually -1, -2 just changes the stuff for the whole game here with these kind of cards. I love it, and even without the perpetual shenanigans and breaking things with Vesperlark, -1, -2 perpetually for the whole game is fantastic for a single mana. Again, I think you're going to see this a lot more instances than just combo, taking out things like Scrap Heap Scrounger, Skyclay Scourge, or Scourge of the Sky, whatever it is, the two mana black card, and all the zombies. Getting rid of them for 1 mana for the whole game is fantastic. That Arclight Phoenix, so you may have heard of that card, is pretty good. Keeping it going forever seems decent, so watch out, y'all. If this card is real, it'll see some play for sure. That's number 3. 3 for Dale. Let's go to number 2. Almost forgot that time. In number 2 on here, we have yet another human card, and the Esper Sentinel, another modern all-star, fantastic addition to the format yet again. Esper Sentinel is a white mana 1/1 human soldier artifact creature. So right there, you got your Delirium, bam, 2 creatures for it. There's 2 card types for it. So it's a 1/1. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player plays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. I'm imagining this against, I think this is main deckable already. It's fantastic. There's going to be so many decks, where the people, they really just want to go and they want to play their expressive iteration. They're going to have a really hard time doing that now because they can't play the X unless you draw a card. This card just kind of does its own thing. It beats you down early game like you want it to. But if they don't play around it, like this can just draw you 1, 2, maybe 3 cards. And that is ridiculous value for something like this. It's an artifact, which matters in a lot of decks. It's a human, which matters in a lot of decks. This card just does it all. It's got the versatile game plan to do every little thing you want it to do. Checks all the boxes for me and things that I want to see in a card. So if I can beat you down, make your life a little bit miserable, and draw some cards while doing so, sign me up. Esper Sentinel will absolutely see play. Still say crafting this one for sure. 1 more card to go. I'm sure y'all already know what it is by not hearing it already. But let's get down to number 1. Coming in at number 1 for the Jumpstart Historic Horizons cards here, we have Dragon's Rage Channeler to a surprise to no one. If you don't know this card already, it's a beast. 1 red mana, so single red mana here for a human. Yet again, we got another human. 1/1 Shaman. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, surveil 1. Already solid there. Delirium, as long as there are 4 more cards type in your graveyard, Dragon's Rage Channeler gets +2/+2, has flying, and attacks each combat of Fable. So you're telling me anytime you cast non-creature spells, which this card in these kind of decks they wouldn't want to do anyway, surveil 1, so you're helping your Delirium out by surveiling. You're getting to make sure your draws are good. Just a fantastic addition there. And then Delirium, which can be achieved pretty easy in these kind of decks. All of a sudden, you have a 1 mana 3/3 flyer that attacks each turn and surveils when you cast on creature spells. It's just so good. Now, yes, there's not the versatile, So yes, there's not the vast amount of spells like there are in modern and these older formats to really get Delirium enabled. There's no bobble or anything like that to make that happen super easy, but still, it can happen in a pinch of these kind of shells. Surveilling here is super, super nice. It's a human, which matters again. And anytime you can pay 1 mana for a creature and have it possibly be a 3/3 that with flying and upside, it's so good. So if you haven't seen this card before, get ready to, because you're going to see a lot of it in Historic. I guarantee you playing this. And the beauty of it, it's an uncommon. They didn't upshift it, which is great. And I gotta say, for this whole set, I was talking about how it's potentially a little bit predatory, how you get these packs, and I do still agree. But it's so nice and refreshing to see a lot of these good cards come in common and uncommon. Yes, there's some rares and mythics I'm going to have to spend and just deal with it. But as a whole, we get a lot of bomby kind of cards here in the uncommon and common slots. That's super nice. So Number one spot here for sure is Dragon's Rage Channeler. I don't think a lot of people would really argue that, but if you want to, feel free to do so in the comments. So that's what we got, y'all. Let me know if I left any cards out that you want to see in this top 10 list. I'm sure I did. Everybody's lists are different. Doesn't mean they're wrong or right. Let me know what y'all thought about it in the comments. Hopefully, we'll have some gameplay coming up when this comes out, which is on the 26th. A little bit later than I wanted it to be, but it's part of it. Some exciting things happening around that time. We got the Innistrad spoilers coming out, so we'll see, I guess. But yeah, looking forward to playing Historic, y'all. Thank you for the support. Thank you so much for watching. Looking forward to some new action here. Thanks for watching, y'all. Let's go.